su pico radar. A ella le sorprendió escuchar aquel nombre. The radar peak. He surprised to her. Listen that name. He was surprised to listen to that name to her. Oh no.
Right. So keep in mind here that it says a ella le. So it's saying that to her it was surprising to hear that name.
Yeah, to her. This is the weird part. You see, this is actually the a ella is repeating this le. This just means the same thing. It means her. It means he, she.
Right, yeah, because in theory you could just say le sorprendió escuchar aquel nombre. So yeah, it's a little repetitive. Spanish kind of likes to do this, but I think the reason why they included a ella is just to clarify to us that it is talking about her and not about him.
Like the pinpoint is her. Okay. Sí, teníamos que realizar una misión urgente, despejar el perímetro de árboles para crear una zona vallada. Yes, we had to realize an urgent. We had to achieve an urgent mission. Despegar el perímetro. Despejar. What is despejar?
Despejar that's an interesting word. So it means to clear something out.
Clearing the perímetro, something meter.
Close. Yeah, say it in English.
Parameter.
Close. What letter is in the middle?
Perimeter.
Yeah, perimeter. So do you know what the
perimeter?
perimeter is?
No, I don't know parameter. Parameter
So
is another word.
Parameter is a different word, correct. Perimeter is the surrounding area. So for example, some math equation may ask you to find the perimeter of a circle or something like that. So it simply means the area of the furthest point. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know the perimeter, but I barely use that.
Yeah,
perimeter.
me either. I feel like it's a very technical word. Like I feel like you only see it maybe for mathematical problems, or you only see it for
Yeah, like in Chinese it's called 周长, I know, but I just barely use that in English. Use that terminology in English.
Yeah, I think the only place I see it outside of math is maybe for some construction or some security type of things.
Clearing the perimeter of the tree. What does this mean? Clearing to create a new vallada. What is vallada?
Vallada. This word is something that is fenced in. So when you place a fence.
Fencing, a fencing zone. A fenced in zone.
So if they say that, they're saying de que despejaron el perímetro de árboles. So this may sound a little confusing, I guess, but what they are saying here is that they are having to despejar that space of the árboles. So if they are despejando los árboles, what are they doing to them?
What?
So if they are despejando los árboles, what are they doing to the árboles?
You just measure the perimeter of the árboles? I didn't get the point.
Not exactly. So here, the focus is the perímetro. So there exists a perimeter, there exists a certain space. So they need to despejar that space of the árboles. So that means that they are removing or taking out all of the trees with the perimeter.
Your connection is really bad. sometimes.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me a little better now?
Sometimes it's good, but sometimes the voice has been cut. How to say, like some oscillation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. My connection out here is not too good. What I was saying is that they are having to clear out any of the trees from within the perimeter. So they are removing these trees so that they can put in a fence.
Clearing out the perimeter. I still didn't get it. You mean the perimeter of the tree means maybe it's trying to measure in the diameter? No. The perimeter of the trunk of the tree.
No. So the focus here is the perimeter. This perimeter is full of trees, so that they have to despejar. They have to clear it out. So they are clearing out or removing all of the trees from within the perimeter.
Oh, so you mean now the perimeter is not as a terminology in the math. It means this specific zone, the perimeter of this specific zone, and they are going to clear out the tree inside of this zone.
Exactly. Very good.
Okay. This is weird. I can use these words to describe as a zone. I thought it's totally as a math terminology inside here. So I thought it's going to say some people are measuring the perimeter of some of the chunks of the trunks. What's the word? Chunk or trunk of the tree?
Trunk, with a TR, trunk.
Yeah, trunk. So maybe if the perimeter is over some threshold, then they will cut them down as the wood material, and if it is smaller, then they will just skip them. I thought you were going to see that.
No, sorry. No, because remember that part of the theme of this chapter is about how they're just destroying everything, how the forest used to be full of, the river used to be full of fish, and the forest used to be full of trees, and they're just leaving behind emptiness, just leaving behind.
No. I mean, this is just going to say maybe the trunk. If the perimeter of the trunk is larger, then they will take them. If it's smaller, they will just skip them. It's also destroying something.
True.
Okay. Pico Radar era un lugar envuelto en misterio. Radar Peak was a place envuelto en misterio. Envuelto. What does this mean? Envuelto means return.
That is a very good guess, but not exactly. So it does. So the word volver, you can say something like él ha vuelto. He has come back. But in this case, envuelto comes from the word envolver. Envolver means to wrap something.
To wrap something. The radar
so you can imagine that when you are wrapping something, first the direction that you move for example, if you are wrapping something using a blanket, maybe you move the blanket forward and then you bring it backwards to wrap it. So that's why it's envolver, because this thing that you're using, it goes and then it comes back, vuelve. So you can kind of just imagine this motion of something that comes and goes back to be wrapping something, to be bundling something or tying it up.
Then what does this mean? A wrapped place?
Yeah, so it was a place that was, English maybe wouldn't use wrapped. It sounds more natural in Spanish, but in English they might say a place that is shrouded, or a place that is covered, or a place that is surrounded in.
So it just means surrounded in or full of mystery.
Exactly. Very good.
Not that. Envuelto. Okay. Do you usually use this word? Do you usually use this word in your daily life? This is a more formal way of using, or a poetic way of Spanish usage?
in this sense, it's a little poetic, just because we are not usually describing mysterious places. This word is more typical. For example, if you work in a packaging place, you say, "Oh, well, hoy tuvimos que envolver, no sé, varias tinajas. Today we had to
Yeah,
wrap various dishes."
I mean, used in this case.
But in this case, it's a little more poetic, just because they're trying to give this idea of the place is surrounded in mystery, or it's full of mystery. So it's a little bit
Okay.
more poetic in this case.
Sí. Aunque ese no era su nombre oficial, lo llamaban así por la gran antena parabólica que lo coronaba. Even though that was not its official name, they call it like that. They just call it like that for la gran antena because of the because of the big parabolic antenna and that's on its top. That is on its top.
Yeah, very good.
Coronaba means use some crown is on its top. I just guess it because the crown usually means something at the top of something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it says that this antenna crowns the mountain, which basically just is another way of saying that it sits on top of the mountain. It's at the top of the mountain.
Okay. En realidad, cualquiera con un mínimo de conocimientos sabía que no se trataba de un radar, pues si bien su orientación cambiaba a diario, jamás se movía de forma constante. In reality, cualquiera, anyone?
Very good. Anyone with?
Anyone with the minimum of the conocimiento, with the knowledge. Conocimiento means knowledge.
Yeah.
With the minimum of the knowledge, would know that se trataba de un radar. Would know that is a radar.
Que no se trataba de un radar.
It was not a radar.
Very good.
Pues si bien su orientación, because if so, its orientation changes daily, and it will never move. It will never move as constant. It will never move. Never unmove. What does this mean? Never constant.
So.
Unmove.
Continue.
I mean, jamás means never, right?
Very good. Jamás se movía de forma constante.
Jamás se movía de forma constante. Se movía de forma constante means it doesn't move, right?
Sort of. So let's take these two little subsections. So first we see it says pues si bien su orientación cambiaba a diario. So it's saying its orientation moves daily. So this is correct. We know that antenna moves, but jamás se movía de forma constante. It never moved in a constant rate. It never moved consistently. So with a radar, remember that the radar is constantly scanning the area around it. It's constantly moving to make sure that it's covering every single direction. But this antenna does not move in a circle. It does not move constantly. It only moves sometimes. Maybe it moves once a day to point in a different direction. So it's not really a radar doing a scan. It's something else.
I thought they se movía de forma constante. Constante means constant, means actually it doesn't move. And jamás doesn't move, means never doesn't move. So it means move always, all the time. It's so weird.
No. So if we take away the jamás and we just say se movía de forma constante, that tells us that it's moving constantly. It's constantly moving.
So in
But if
this
we
case,
say
I
jamás,
thought it says se movía de forma constante. Constante means something stable, something unchanged. So it just actually means se movía de forma constante means doesn't move. I thought.
no, no. That's a very good guess. But in this case, since the focus on it is mover, then that would mean that it has a consistent movement. So
Okay.
some things are always moving. For example, a clock is always moving. If it's not moving, it's broken. So in this case,
Okay.
the clock has a constant movement.
But how
in the
to
case of the
translate?
antenna, it does not.
Okay, how to translate the pues si bien? Because
So this,
how to translate that?
in this case, I would translate CVN as while, 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 because it's conceding a little bit. So it's telling us while it does move every day, it doesn't move constantly. So it's just an expression to say that something is happening, but not exactly the way that we think. So for example, you might be able to say, while I do like spicy food, I don't want it today. If that makes sense.
Okay, but then pues?
Pues, yeah, so in this case, pues si bien.
Okay,
so I would just, in English, I would just include all of these together, just because the way the Spanish conveys some sentences doesn't always translate 100%. So for example, like, I guess if you're...
It's more like some particles in the language, in the sentence.
Yeah. So for example, maybe in some older books of English writing, you might see sentences that are structured something like, so if
I'm just
true,
trying to get a clue of understand or how to use this in the Spanish, but this turns out no matter what language you're learning, this is the hardest part to use. Even though you can see this everywhere, but you still don't know how to use it. Like many foreigners never know how to use le in Chinese.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes those particles can be very difficult to master. But yeah, in general, you would just use this when you are giving some information but not confirming something outright. So for example, here it's telling us while it does move, it never moves consistently. Or its movement isn't constant. It's not something that's predictable. So yeah, I guess maybe some older English books may say, what was I going to use as an example?
Yeah, I already understand those. You don't need so much explanation of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I just these kind of things make me confused how to say how to make sure that I can understand in the next time or translate exactly in the next time, but it's hard. But for the meaning, there's already many information in this sentence, so it can be easy to get the meaning of this sentence, but it's just hard to translate those small particles.
Yeah.
Okay. Al cruzarla, el silbido del viento se oía desde lejos. Al cruzarla. When cross her. When crossing it.
When crossing it.
When crossing it. What crossing what?
La antena.
La antena is crossing what? It's like
no, when you are crossing la antena, or when you're going past it.
Oh, okay. So past it. When one passing the antenna, the silbido. What is silbido?
Silbido comes from silbar, which means to whistle.
Okay, the whistle of the wind. The whistle of the wind se oía desde lejos. You can hear the whistle of the wind from a far place, far away.
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Lo único que Yewenjie y los demás miembros de su compañía sabían a ciencia cierta sobre el pico radar era que se trataba de una base militar. The only thing that Yewenjie know, the only one that Yewenjie and other members of her mate. How to I know the meaning of the I know the Chinese translation of this, but which word should I choose in English? Companies, mate. Bro.
You could see. So in this case, they're not saying compañeros, her mate, or her workers or things like that. Here they're using the word compañía. So while we could translate this as company, I think that generally what this book has been doing is that that's the name of this this like forest core or something like that. So remember how English has that weird word corps, but they just pronounce it core. So in this case, what she and the rest of the members of her core,
yeah, but it seems like your connection is really bad.
Oh, sorry.
Are you using the mobile phone to have the connection, or use the computer?
Mobile phone.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason. When I use the mobile phone to connect in the Teams or these meetings, it has some problem with the microphone because the CPU of the phone is not enough to use. Anyway, so of the other members of our company knew that Ciencia knew 100% of the radar peak. It was actually a military base.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's easy to know this the meaning of this sentence, but the problem is that I think the grammar it's so weird. Like I can see that you see here is a verb sabía, and this is adverb treat as an adverb 100% 100%ly maybe about the radar peak, and there is another verb. This is weird. For me, I think this should be the pico radar que se trataba there should be no error. Pico radar que se trataba de una base militar. What is this era?
So that's just to make the sentence complete. So it's saying that the only thing they knew with certainty was that it was a military base.
Was that it was maybe starting from okay, anyway, it's so long. It's hard to analyze the sentence of the grammar. Okay. Según los aldeanos, al construirla 3 años antes, el ejército había movilizado al infinidad de personas para trazar una carretera hasta la cima y tender el cableado eléctrico, según los aldeanos. ¿Qué significa aldeano?
Aldea. So maybe you know the type of settlement called aldea.
Type of what? Settlement.
Yeah, so if it's smaller than a pueblo, then it's an aldea.
Smaller than pueblo. I think the pueblo
Smaller than?
is already the smallest one, village, right?
Not quite. So pueblo is more
Means
like a
the
town.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pueblo means
So
the town.
aldea
Okay.
means,
Aldea means the village.
so if you're aldeano, then you are
The people from the village.
a villager. Very good.
Yeah. Based on knowing from the meaning of this, but how to translate it? Knowing from the villagers, or based on the words of the
Según,
villagers?
according to.
Yeah, according to the villagers, when it's built, when the antenna is built, 3 years ago, the soldier, ejército, or
The military or the army,
the army had moved,
mobilized,
had moved to had moved many people, infinite people, person to trazar una carretera. Trazar, what does it mean? ¿Qué significa trazar?
To trace.
To trace and carretera, to trace a highway.
Yeah, or a road,
To trace a road to the cima. Cima means the top.
Yeah, very good.
To trace the road to the top, and tender. What is tender?
Tender is a type of word that just means to put some objects. Usually this is used for some longer things. So for example, when you wake up and your bed sheets are all wrinkled, you have to tender tu cama.
Tender.
So it's like to extend or to lay.
Okay. And cableado, cable, electric cable.
Yeah, very good.
Then is there an English word, or like the stretch streets, stretch the electric cable street? Maybe.
Tender el cableado eléctrico. So it's just saying that they had to, I don't know, place the electric cables or to extend the electric cables, or something along the lines of that, probably.
It's better to use Chinese to translate that. 落是平整. 平整 means make something plan, make something in order.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know how to translate that in English. Transportaron una gran cantidad de materiales. They transported a big quantity of the materials.
Very good.
Después, en cuanto tuvieron la base, destruyeron la carretera y la reemplazaron por un camino estrecho y tortuoso. En cuanto tuvieron la base, when they had this base, means when they made this base.
Yeah, en cuanto tuvieron la base. So as soon as they finish making the base.
Tuvieron means they finished the base. They finished something.
It implies it. So as soon as they had the base, which I guess is as soon as they had the base finished.
Tuver means tener. So now it means they finished something. Tener means finish something.
In this case, yes. Typically, it's not too common, but in this case, yes.
When they finish the base, they destroy the road and the reemplazaron. What's reemplazaron? Emplazar means employee, employ.
Kind of. So reemplazar means to replace.
Reemplazar. Also, it means a place. Okay, emplazar means place. At least employee. They replaced reemplazar. Reemplazaron. They replaced it using. They replace it with what is estrecho, stretched, twisted.
Estrecho is something that is narrow.
Narrow, estrecho. They replace it with a narrow and I know the meaning of this in Chinese, but I forgot the pronunciation of the English word. Twisted.
Yeah, so English technically has the word tortuous. You're
Yeah,
never gonna hear this word. They might
Actually,
say
I
something
heard.
like winding.
So don't know how to pronounce that correctly because these words also used in my major. They describe the
Okay.
some of the paths in the rock, the poor path in the rock, torches, right?
Tortuous.
Tortuous. This looks like tortoise.
Yeah.
Tortuous. The narrow and the tortuous road.
Path.
A menudo se veían helicópteros despegando y aterrizando. A menudo se veían. A menudo means they barely, despite.
We can use this as frequently.
Frequently. A menudo means soler.
Kind of. Yeah, it's within the similar scope as soler.
Okay, frequently they saw the helicopter despegando, leaving and aterrizando, landing and leaving, taking off.
Yeah, very good. Taking off and arriving.
Aterrizando means arriving.
Yeah, well, the literal meaning is to land, landing. Okay, you can see the root word ter, like tierra.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can see the roots, but the problem is like sometimes the "a" means the opposite. Sometimes "a" means two. So I thought this also means like lift or take off from the land, from tierra.
No, not quite. So in this case, despegar is when it lifts off, and aterrizar is when it lands.
Okay. La antena no siempre quedaba a la vista. The antenna not always in a vision. Means you cannot always see the antenna.
Very good, yeah.
Cuando el viento soplaba demasiado fuerte, la escondía. When the wind what does this mean? Soplaba.
Soplar means to blow.
Okay, blow too force, too heavy. Escondía means they protect it.
Yes, but the literal meaning is they would hide it.
Escondía means escort.
No, not exactly. That would be escoltar.
Escortar. Okay. Escondía. Okay, hide something. Okay, they will hide it. Maybe use some shed to hide the antenna.
Maybe, yeah.
Sin embargo, si se hallaba abierta, empezaban a ocurrir fenómenos extraños en la zona. However, if hallaba, what does this mean? Hallaba.
So hallar literally means to find something. But in this case, it just means if it was. So if
Okay.
the antenna was,
if it is found open, if it is open, and they started to occur external phenomenon in the zone.
not quite external.
Strange. Okay.
Yeah, very good. Strange phenomenon.
It started to cause some strange phenomena in the zone.
Yes, very good. Such as?
But the ocurrir, for me, I think it's something like the empezaban a ocurrir. It occurs some phenomenon. I think it's better to use like a causa here, right? Causar.
So causar would also be correct, yes. But there is a very small difference here. The difference is that in this case, the villagers or the forest corps or whoever else, they're not 100% certain that the antenna is the actual cause of this. So they're just noticing that whenever the antenna is out, strange things start to happen. So they do not have proof to say, yes, the antenna definitely causes it. But they have noticed that whenever the antenna is out, strange things do happen. So that's just the small detail. It just lets us know that they're not certain. They're just noticing that these strange things happen whenever the antenna is out. But they don't have proof to say, the antenna definitely causes it.
Okay.
Even if it is very likely.
Se oían chillidos de animales nerviosos, los pájaros huían y la gente sufría náuseas y mareos. They heard the chillidos. What is chillidos?
Chillar means to cry.
They heard the cry of the nervous animals. Maybe the screaming or the yelling.
Yeah. So in English, cry can just be a very generic word for any like sounds that an animal makes. And then in Spanish, chillar is the same way, but it implies some like high-pitched noises. So for example, dogs, if they want to go outside or something, they may start to make a chillido, like that type of noise.
Okay. And the bird huían. What is huían? Like?
Huir.
Huir. What does this mean?
It means to flee, to run away. Well, the birds fly, but it means to go away from somewhere quickly.
Miss hurry?
Kind of. So it's not so much the speed at which they do it, it's the fact that they are leaving a place. So for example, I might tell you, la casa se está quemando, sal corriendo, huye. Like, go away, run. So I'm telling you to flee. I'm telling you to go, that we must get away. So here it's saying that once the antenna is out, the birds start to flee. The birds start to go away.
So the huir, the literal meaning means flee.
Yes, correct.
Okay. The bird fled. That was the past tense. Fled.
Fled, yeah, very good.
The bird fled, and the people suffer from nausea. What's nausea? And mareos.
Mareo is an interesting word. Do you recognize the root?
Mar.
And what happens to people who are not used to being on the mar when they go on a boat?
Vomiting.
Yeah, so mareos. And nausea. Nausea is the same word in English. Nausea. And it's the same thing. So it's like dizziness, maybe vomiting, sort of like those sorts of feelings.
Okay, nauseous. I thought this means some symptoms of someone cannot sleep.
No, that's insomnia.
Yeah, insomnia. Okay. So these two words just means vomiting.
Vomiting and dizziness, yeah.
Okay. Además, los lugareños perdían el pelo con gran facilidad. And moreover, the lugareños. What is lugareños?
The local people.
Lugareños. Okay, the local people lost the hair with a big facilidad. Can easily lost their hair. Facilidad.
Yeah, very good.
Según ellos, aquel fenómeno empezó a producirse después de que la antena entrara en funcionamiento. Según ellos, according to that, that phenomenon started
according to them,
that phenomenon started to started to happen after the entering of the antenna in work. After the antenna started to work.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. After the antenna started working.
Okay. Maybe we can finish this paragraph.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Eran muchas las historias fantásticas relacionadas con pico radar. There are many fantastic stories related to the radar peak.
Very good.
Un día estaba nevando y al abrirse la antena, la nieve se convirtió al instante en lluvia. A day was nevada. Snowing.
Un día.
One day. Other day.
Estaba nevando. One day it was snowing.
One day it was snowing, and al abrirse la antena, when they abrirse means close.
Nope. Close is to cerrar.
Open.
Yeah, very good.
When the antenna opens, the snow instantly converted to rain.
Yeah, very good.
Como cerca del suelo la temperatura seguía siendo bajo cero, la lluvia volvió a congelarse a la altura de los árboles y quedó transformada en gigantescos carámbanos. Cerca de. When getting close to the floor of the temperature. The floor of the temperature. What does this mean? The lowest point of the temperature.
Como cerca del suelo, because near the ground, la temperatura seguía siendo bajo cero. The temperature continued being.
Its temperature continued being below zero. The rain volvió return to. Volvió means return.
Yes, but in this case returns to a specific state. So it returned to what?
Congelarse. Congelarse, what does this mean? To getting together?
That's a good guess, but not exactly. We can see the root here, gel, G-E-L. This is kind of like gélido, which means cold, or like hielo, which means ice. So congelar means to become frozen.
To become frozen? A la altura, at the altitude of the altura. No. Altura means altitude.
Altitude is okay. We can also say height.
At the height of the trees. And it stayed transformed in a gigantic carambalos. What does this mean? Carambalos.
Icicles.
Icicle. What does this mean? Big ice ball?
Yeah, kind of. So for example, if you've lived somewhere where it becomes ice very often, you'll notice that sometimes houses and cars have icicles. So these are like big blocks of ice, usually that they hang off of something.
Oh, okay, icicle. Oh, I don't know that English word, icicle, but I know the Chinese mean. Miss some pinrules. When it's very cold, there will be some pillar or some column, ice column.
Exactly. Yeah. And those are icicles.
Icicles. Okay. El bosque entero. El bosque entero se convirtió entonces en un gran palacio de cristal. De vez en cuando, alguna rama caía vencida por el peso del hielo. The entire forest converted to a big palace of crystal. De vez en cuando, sometimes alguna rama caía. What is rama?
Rama means a branch.
Branch. Some branch fell. Vencida. What is vencida?
Defeated.
Fell, defeated because of the weight of the ice.
Yeah, very good.
Caía vencida. I think vencida is already enough. But you still use the verb caía. Caía means caer means fall down. Caer.
Yeah, fall down. Yeah, because remember that the rama is close to the top of the tree. So it will, if it breaks, it will fall down to the ground.
Yeah, but vencida already means what's the meaning of that? Already means the defeat. Defeat already means defeated by something. That means fall, or something started to decay, right?
Sometimes, yeah. So I think for a more natural sentence, we don't really need vencer. We can just say alguna rama caía por el peso del hielo. Some branches would fall because of the weight of the ice. Vencido kind of just gives it a little bit of a poetic touch.
Okay.